Uplink is very quickly proving to be probably one of my most favorite game modes in any first-person shooter of all time. So let's take a look at a little bit of Uplink gameplay. We'll talk about the game type, how you can be very effective within it, how you can play it to your maximum capabilities, how you can get better at it, a little bit of tips and tricks and strategies, that kind of stuff. In addition, at the very end I want to talk a little bit about my own personal thoughts on the game type, and how I'm kind of sad that on the PC side it seems like there's very few people playing. It seems like whenever I have a group of people, we're the only ones in the lobby, and the game feels even more dead than Titanfall, and it's only been out for a week. So anyways, without much further ado, let's get started. So for those who've never seen Uplink before and have no idea what this game mode is or what it entails, let's just go through a brief little overview of kind of how you're supposed to play it. I don't know how that knife didn't hit, that was kind of stupid. So basically, how you play Uplink is there is a neutral ball that spawns in the middle of the map. You can kind of think of it like a neutral bomb that you have to take to an enemy base. In previous Call of Duty games, I think Demolition was the name of that game type. There's a neutral bomb. You guys got to fight over it, and pick it up, take it to the enemy base, and plant it to win. Well, in this one, they've eliminated basically the planting and defending the planted bomb aspect, and it's basically kind of turned into almost like basketball with guns. For lack of a better phrase. So you pick up this ball in the center and you have to take it to an enemy base. Did you guys see that crush? That was freaking amazing. I pooped my pants when I got that, to be honest. Anyways, so basketball with guns. Basically, you pick up the ball in the middle of the map. You got to take it to the enemy team's goalpost. If you throw the ball into the goalpost, you get 1 point, and if you slam dunk the ball, you get 2 points. It's pretty much just as simple as that. So basically, your strategy is you have passing capabilities. So with your left mouse button, you are able to lock on to a friendly teammate, as opposed to what, an enemy teammate? Okay, if you can lock on to a teammate, and you can pass the ball to them, and it'll automatically track them, and kind of, most of the time, will just kind of automatically land in their hands as long as they're within range. You can see that guy actually just got a score on us, unfortunately. The other way you can throw it is just a regular, unguided throw with right-click, where you can just throw the ball into the air, and it has a very, very heavy gravity, so you can't throw it very far. So you can't make these super ridiculous long shots with the ball. However, the ball is very bouncy, so you are able to kind of bank it off of walls, almost as if walls are like backboards for you to use in traditional basketball, or you can kind of bounce it off the floor sometimes with some very, very long and high altitude throws, and get it to actually bounce off the floor and up into the basket. I don't have any clips of me doing that. I've done it 1 or 2 times, ever, so it's not exactly easy to do, and it almost seems more random than anything. But anyways, basically this is a very, very team-oriented playlist. You need to have some people dedicated on defense, because this game moves so quickly. If you have 3 guys on offense and you all get mopped up and they pick the bomb up or the ball up and start running it back to your base, a lot of times you're not able to get back to your base in time to defend because they're able to move so freaking quickly. So you need people on dedicated defense at all times. It's happened very many times where an enemy team has scored on us, and we know they're about to score on us. There's nothing we can do to go back to our base to help. So instead of going back to the base, we will go immediately to the bomb respawn point. We'll wait for the bomb to respawn, and then we'll just pick it up and just steamroll into their base because they can't get back in time. So it just becomes this back and forth of, do you go for the ball? Do you go for the base? Like, which target do you need to pick first? So it's kind of difficult in that aspect, but, at the same time, it creates a strategy of, do you need to give up points in order to score yourself? Do you need to do, to make action A occur in order for, B to happen later? One thing that my normal group of guys that I play with, that we have not really figured out yet, but I guess we haven't really practiced either, is passing routes. So what we think is probably going to end up being like one of the most powerful meta games in this game type, is instead of having just like a big death ball offense moving towards their base at all times, is try to have that slower, campier Call of Duty kind of playstyle where you have people just kind of sitting you know, and controlling areas of the map and power positions. And what we want to do is try to have those power positions locked down and create passing routes amongst them. So instead of having to run the ball too much, you know, we'll run it a little bit, but we'll just have passing routes between, you know, from point to point to point. Now, it is possible for people to intercept the ball and take it from us, but it's such a difficult thing for people to do on a consistent basis. It's more of just like a random, lucky, you know, hey, I got it kind of thing, as opposed to, you know, hey, we need to intercept the ball here, you know, on their throw and not like on a kill or something. So it seems like it's going to have a lot of team synergy, a lot of team strategy. It's going to revolve quite a lot about how well you're positioned on the map, but at the same time, it still retains that Call of Duty feel. It's still very fast. It's still very random. You still need to be very, very quick on your toes and have a very quick trigger finger in order to actually accomplish a lot of these feats that you need to accomplish. You know, even with the times to kill being as low as they are, sometimes killing people is just very difficult in this game with how much they move and how much is going on. You know, how you're getting stunned all over the place, or, you know, your mouse is flying away from you because LOL mouse acceleration. It becomes very difficult to kill people a lot of times in this game. So, quite frankly, this game type kind of takes all of the elements that make this game difficult, that make it hard for you to go on a long kill streak, that make it so you have to play the objective, and it exacerbates them to the nth degree. It makes the game way harder. You have to play much more aggressively, but at the same time you have to be much more passive as well. You have to know when to push and when to hold back. You know, when to move into a certain area of a map alone, when to move with a team, or when not to. You know, when to perform all sorts of different actions that you just don't have to worry about when you're playing other game modes like Domination, Kill Confirmed. It's very akin to something more like Search, you know, with how much team synergy you really need in this game mode, and it's a lot more fun to me because you don't just die once and lose. You know, you can die a few times and play the objective super hard and be very aggressive and not be terribly punished for it, except for having to run back to where you're trying to get. So, really, really fun game mode in my opinion. Really hard to play, but I think that probably one of the most prevalent strategies for teams, like I was saying before, passing routes is going to be pretty much the #1 thing. In addition, if you do have to run the ball, it's very important to note that you will get armor on your character. So you'll see a little bar in the bottom of the screen that denotes that you have some armor. And that armor is basically like a second health bar. It allows you to take quite a lot more damage before you do inevitably die. However, this second health bar does not regenerate. And how did I not get that punch? That was ridiculous. So that second health bar does not regenerate whatsoever. Sorry, I just hit my plate on the table there. So one strategy that I've seen a lot of people using, and I've been trying to pick up as well, is once somebody who has the ball is hurt, but they're in a safe area, you know, they're in a hallway where, you know, they know they're going to be safe for a moment, what they'll do is they will do a manual throw of the ball, and they'll just throw it at the ground or at the wall in front of them, and they will drop the ball and then pick it right back up, and that will actually cause their armor to regenerate back to full when they do that. So that's probably one of the most important strategies to know if you're going to be a runner of the ball, is that once you get into a safe zone, you gotta dribble. You know, it's like basketball, you gotta dribble the ball, and it'll regen your armor and let you take extra hits. So very important to do, and I don't see very many people doing it, so I kind of wanted to bring that out there for a lot of people to know about, so we can have some even more competitive games in the future. In summary, it's basically going to come down to you and your normal group of friends or clanmates or whatever to come up with a strategy that works for you. Personally, I think setting up power positions and having passing routes is probably the way to go, but maybe your team is going to be better at a steamrolling kind of death ball movement sort of style. So, you know, let me know in the comment section down below, you know, how is your team playing Uplink? How are you having the most success in the game mode? Let's try to advance the metagame together as best and effectively as we can. Anyways, everybody, thank you all for watching, and I hope you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please like and subscribe if you feel so inclined, and please just do your absolute best to try and promote Uplink. This game is a week old, and it already feels completely dead on PC because I can't find a game of Uplink anymore, and I want to play Uplink, so let's get some games, guys. Take care.